Can you hear this? Hello?
Yeah, let's see here. Gallery view. Let's see. I know. There we go. Now I got you.
Good to see you, my friend.
What's going on up there?
Far too long. It's been far too long.
Oh, my phone was saying something over here. Oh, you're doing the hot tea for the Zoom meeting?
It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. It actually is coffee.
So I just learned a ton of new jokes
Oh boy.
in sign language, which I'm sure you never heard of them.
That's good. That's good.
So here's a quote from Albert Einstein.
Oh, I got one too.
If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you probably don't understand it yourself. Wow.
I had a presentation this week, Tuesday morning, for an hour for a bank virtually. But I quoted Albert Einstein because I got talking about the importance of our imagination and dreams and visions, etc. Albert Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. I just learned that last week.
Wow.
If there was anybody who would say imagination is more important than knowledge, I would think Einstein would be the last guy to say that because he's just all about the knowledge. But you think about it, everything in our reality, everything in our physical world was in someone's mind before it became real.
Huh, that's amazing.
A friend of mine said, the story in your mind becomes a story in your life.
Nice.
Whereas today we're living our lives, which is what we've pictured in the past, which is why we're here.
Huh.
Interesting.
So I saw a comic on America Got Talent, and he was really nervous. One of these guys that was afraid to go out of the house. I forget what they call it. He's like really, really nervous. He wouldn't leave the house, and he has some kind of condition anyway.
Yep.
So the doctor says you need to. He gave him things to do. You know, you need to go out of the house for a minute, and then 2 minutes, then 5 minutes, and then take a walk. You know, and this guy, there was a comedy club down the street from him, so he decided he wanted to do comedy. Like he's really nervous and really scared. So he goes up there and he's telling the story. So he says, I have a lot in common with Albert Einstein. Oh, let's not down, but it was just so funny the way he said it. I don't know if I remember. He said he died when he was still a virgin when he died. He said, so I have one up on him because I'm still alive.
Wow.
Oh man.
I got a quote for you.
Yeah,
because I don't have this one memorized. It's a little long, but boy, this speaks to our self-worth.
There you go.
It says, if you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself with what he will do. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, you do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status. He will seek it himself. If you make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told. And if there is no door, his very nature will demand one.
Wow.
Wow.
Boom.
Isn't that crazy good? You know who I heard said it you know who I heard that from the first time? Les Brown.
Oh yeah.
You're the best.
You gotta stay hungry.
That's right. What's his new one? If you fall down, make sure you fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
There was a young man that used to do my lawn, and he had a guy helping him. And I was up there telling him a couple of jokes and stuff, you know, how I am.
I do.
And one of his friends,
I do, really.
The guy that was working with him, he goes, said something. So my buddy Antonio said, hey, because, you know, then bring him some kind of quote that was kind of interesting, like a motivational type of thing. And he goes, okay, Les Brown. And I said, wait a minute, come here. I said, you guys know Les Brown? I said, yes. I've seen him live. You know, I've been following him for years. They're like amazed by that. That's something.
I saw him live together way back in the beginning of his career.
Yeah, back in the.
Refers to me jokingly as, okay, Les Brown, I think I'll retire right there. I'll be done.
Yeah, that was in North Carolina, Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just a few months ago, right?
Seems that way.
Three or 400 months.
So this morning I was outside at the end of my driveway, sitting on a chair reading a book, and my neighbors are going for a walk. They're going by. They said, "Well, what are you doing out here so early?" I says, "Well, my wife is inside singing opera." They said, "Yeah." I says, "Well, I don't want anybody to think I'm in there hitting her. So this is,
That's pretty good.
uh,
I was this morning, no joke, sitting in a chair reading a book also. I have been reading this book called, I'm fascinated with this whole concept of happiness. Because I think it's something we're all striving for, but it's really hard to define. It's totally individualized.
Yeah.
And this book is called The Happiness Advantage. And the original premise, the idea of this book is the fact that in our current society, our culture, we've kind of put happiness aside for an achievement because we're working on becoming successful. And it's work, 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 with the thinking and belief that when we become successful, we will then be happy or attain happiness. And what he's talking about, because that's so ingrained in our culture, is it's the exact opposite of that. When you allow yourself to be happy, whatever that means for the person, it attracts success. It sets it all up properly. It's really cool.
yeah.
They had some studies done. I mean, interesting, it's all scientifically based, but, even with kids as young as like 4 years old, putting together blocks, if they had them picture or relive a time when they were happy and they went into a task, they scored significantly better than if you went in with a neutral mindset. Fascinating.
So, Terry, as you know, is a life coach, and a lot of times she tries to bring people back to the place that used to bring them joy as a child. And once they identify what used to bring them joy as a child, she can kind of, bring them through.
Yeah.
See, now she's really good at that stuff with the other people. With me, she just gave me a thing. She says, she told me that I had two faults. One is I don't listen, and there was another one too. I don't know.
So you must get razzed by your friends saying you live with a life coach, like you are her guinea pig, right?
No, you know how it is. If you're a mechanic, there's always a car in your house that doesn't run right.
Your car's always broken. If you're a cobbler, your kids have holes in the shoes.
Yeah, so
she's helping all these people, and your life is falling apart. Is that what you're telling me?
oh, she's a life coach for paying clients. I don't pay, so I don't get coached.
She might want to sponsor this podcast.
Whoa. Boom.
I'll have to call her on that because I'm lacking on the revenue source here. So you're doing all that so far. I'll call that one. I'll take care of that.
If I try to get it to be the sponsor, she's gonna cut me out of my rate. Come on, we're family. Give me a break.
She's gonna ask for a family. She's gonna ask for a family discount. There's no question.
If you do it, she can't ask you for a family discount because you're like family to me, but not to her. She doesn't even know you. That's not.
What are you trying to say?
Oh boy.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Whew. What else is happening? What's going on in Florida today? How's the weather?
The weather's perfect.
What does perfect mean? 78 and sunny?
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
So I was thinking yesterday, I actually told a story to somebody. When Terry and I lived in Phoenix, we lived out there for 3 years. And went home to Massachusetts. And we went to visit one of our friends, and the wife was home, but he wasn't. So I said, how's he doing? I don't want to mention his name because it's something that is. He goes, well, he's having a tough time with drinking again, and he's not going to the AA meetings. He says, I don't know what to do. I says, when's he come home? She goes, he'll be in about 15 minutes. I said, okay, just leave it to me. I'll take care of going to the meeting. She goes, no, he won't go. I says, no, just leave it to me. Don't say anything. So he comes in and stuff, and we're talking. I said, hey, man, is there any meetings going on today here? close by. He says, hey, I says, yeah. He says, why? I says, I need to go to one, man. I haven't gone to one in a long time. I need to go to a meeting. Can you take me to the meeting? He said, yeah. So he takes me to the meeting. But I'm such a dummy. I didn't know how those things work. So I'm over there introducing myself. Hey, how you doing, Tony Cabral? And he gave me the answer. You're not supposed to say your last name. I didn't know this.
Right. That's the second A.
Yeah. So then these guys get up there and start telling stories about how they used to black out and this. And there was a priest there. It's such a crazy story. He said that he blacked out and he ran through somebody's fence and drove his car into the pool. So of course
Say that again. I missed that. The priest.
He was driving, he's drunk, right?
Yeah.
And he drove through somebody's fence and drove his car into the pool, the swimming pool. So they got him out of the thing. The cops got him and locked him up. So now he has to make one call. He has the right to make one call. He goes to make the call, but it was saying call can't be connected as dialed or whatever. So he started calling. The cop says, "What number are you calling?" So he says 978, or maybe it's 562 at the time. I don't forget what it was. Whatever the number was a Massachusetts number. He was trying to call one of his friends. So he says, "Well, you need to dial the area code then." The kid just says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, you're outside of Chicago, So he blacked out and drove from Massachusetts to almost near Chicago, drove into somebody's pool, didn't know how he got there. You know what? That's when I heard all those stories about people that they did when they were drunk like that. And I said, well, I know for sure one thing now, I'm not an alcoholic because I would never do that stuff. That's crazy.
Amazing. Wow.
But the moral of the story is that because I talked to him about my need, which was not really a need. But because of that, he wanted to help me. He went to the meeting and it helped him out. See that?
It's interesting how, I think it's true for all of us. We're much more willing to help other people and go out of the way for them than for ourselves and to things that are supportive to us. I tell you that AA, what a phenomenal organization. I got some friends who've been through that. And I don't have much more respect for anybody than people who can beat that. It's powerful.
So there was a time when I think I was probably a little bit of a turkey because I have a couple of friends that are alcoholics and they go to the meetings and I say, listen, you go there and they keep pounding into you that you're an alcoholic, you can't help yourself, you can't get out of it. It's just it's in you, and you have to. I just that's not right. They should be telling you you can overcome this. You don't have it anymore. He said, well, it's not that easy. I said, well, but if they keep telling you that you still have it, and you can't change it, and you believe that, then you can't change it. Because he was saying to me, if I had one sip of beer right now, I'd have to get drunk. I said, well, look what you just said. Is that what you really mean, or you couldn't have a sip of beer and not drink 17 of them?
That's just it.
Wow.
That's just it. I almost got myself in trouble a week ago today. I was down and I drove down to, a few hours from here, 4 or 5 hours. I was going to a funeral service. It was actually, the funeral service was back in September. We were burying the cremains. So it was a short little ceremony under a tent, maybe 20 or 25 of us, raining. And we went back to a friend's house for lunch. And there's this brother and sister there who are 88 and 90. And I love talking to this woman. I don't see her a lot, but when I do, it's always fun to chat. And everyone's kind of settling in. They had the lunch is coming out onto the table, and there's a bar there. So I said, hey, can I get you something to drink? Would you like a glass of wine? She goes, oh, I'd love a glass of white wine. I go, I'll be right back. So I go over and get a glass of wine. I put an ice cube in it. I bring it back. And by the time I get back to her, the seat I was sitting in next to her is now taken by her brother, who's 90. And so I said, oh, can I, I'm just hospitable. Can I get you a glass of wine? He lights up. He's like, I would love a glass of wine. And his sister puts his arm out towards me and on him. She's no, he doesn't drink. And I'm like, now I feel like I'm stuck in the middle. I didn't know this. And I've known this guy all my life. And so I went back and talked to someone and they said, oh, he hasn't drunk in 30 years. He's an alcoholic. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I almost got myself in some trouble there.
Oh.
And then later on, the lunch thing, I look over and he's got a big frosty mug of beer in front of him. And so I said, I thought he's not drinking. Oh, that's non-alcoholic beer.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's interesting. And I guess that probably works for some people, but I imagine there's probably a lot of sober people out there who wouldn't want to tempt themselves with a non-alcoholic beer just for the flavor. I don't know, but I can't imagine that's something everybody's willing to do.
So near my house, there's like next to my house is a small field, and then there's a street, and on the other side of the street there's a place called Jack Willie's, which is a bar restaurant thing with a tiki hut outside, and they're on the
Nice.
water.
Ah,
So sometimes I can walk. It takes me 90 seconds to walk there, but it takes me 23 minutes to walk home. The difference is staggering. Aha.
aha.
So the last time I was there was a guy that walked up to the bar like he was frantic. He goes, bartender, 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 give me 8 shots and make it quick. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. 8 shots, come on, come on, come on. Bartender says 8 shots. He goes, come on, let's go, let's go. The bartender realized this guy was serious, so he pours in 8 shots. So he goes, grabs the shot, and he goes, boom, 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 boom. Drinks 8 shots like no time at all. Bartender said, oh my God, I've never seen anybody drink like that. Are you okay? He goes, yeah, well, if you had what I have, you would drink fast too. Bartender said, I'm sorry, what do you have? He goes, I have $1.47.
Boom.
Boom, boom. So
Oh,
listen, I found a podcast that I've been enjoying watching. Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson has a podcast?
Yeah, it's called Hot Boxing. Boxin. And the first one I watched was him with Eminem, the rapper.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to get this visual. Mike Tyson and Eminem are on this podcast.
Yeah, it's Mike Tyson's podcast, but Eminem was the guest.
He's interviewing Eminem.
I'm telling you, it was so freaking cool. And Mike Tyson has a lot of wisdom from what he's lived through in his life. And he knows how to drop some nuggets that are really, really good.
Really?
Yeah, then I watched one the other day with Bill Burr, which is one of my favorite comics.
The Boston guy?
Yeah, it was hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Really cool. I think if you cut some of it,
I didn't know who he was until recently. If you haven't seen, or anybody watching this hasn't seen, just go YouTube Bill Burr, Sam Adams SNL, and they do a fake commercial on SNL about a new Sam Adams product, and interviewing people. It is pee your pants funny. This guy is whoa. It's funny.
Bill Burr's crazy. Yeah, I think he's really funny.
And he's kind of right cutting edge too. He doesn't mind taking it right to the edge where people kind of go, is he about to say what I think he's going to say? And he lets it rip.
You're not afraid to say it.
No.
He got really famous when he was doing a comedy thing over in outside of Philly or something. And the first 2 or 3 comics were booed. So when he went out there, he's trying to do a show, but they started booing him. And he went off on the audience like really, really big time. He had a hissy fit. And it was so freaking funny, but it put him through the roof because everybody says, this guy's amazing. He's really funny.
So sometimes the hissy fit can benefit your career, and other times the hissy fit can take away. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. Well,
Sure.
for me, the hissy fit that I experienced, it wasn't my hissy fit that I experienced, catapulted me into this podcast.
Catapulted your career right to today, right now.
Look at how good it's going so far.
All right, Les Brown.
Wow. Yeah. So hot boxing is Mike Tyson.
Hot boxing. I'll have to check that out. I've really been doing a lot of Smartless. I think I told you about Smartless with those 3 actors who I really like. These guys are best buddies. They interview a new guest every. That's a good one.
I'm gonna write that down again so I can remember.
Smartless.
So when I watched the first one, Mike Tyson's thing with Eminem, it had over 10 million views on YouTube.
Really?
I said, whoa. Then I realized that he has a ton of them. He's been doing it for a couple of years. And so while he's doing that, he's smoking weed all the time because, he's in California and it's legal. While he's
Tyson?
While he's on the podcast. And then he does shrooms. So on this one, he was shrooming.
Oh,
So a couple times he was a little bit lost. He says, come on, man, I'm shrooming, man. I'm shrooming. It was so funny.
and how many views does he have?
Well, the one with Eminem was like over 10 million.
And how many views do we have?
We got 15, not million, 15.
Should we start shrooming, or what are we supposed to do here?
I know we got to do something. So to try it out first, you should start the first time you do the shrooms, and I
Really
won't.
maybe our clever wit is not building that fan base as quickly as we thought.
Yeah, some shrooms could help.
For the audience, maybe that's what we do.
But the audience that doesn't know what he's doing with blowing into this coffee is because when people do Zoom meetings at work from home with a work group, you can put whatever you want in your cup as your favorite beverage,
Whatever you want.
whatever you want. And then before you drink, you go. And then people
But you
think you're drinking hot coffee.
That if you're blowing real, you don't want to blow and have the ice cubes clink into each other because they'll hear that and then they'll give it away.
Oh,
Right. So I think we're turning the corner on this COVID-y thing. I was hoping we would sometime this summer. I'm getting contacted by a couple of clients about doing in-person presentations.
nice.
And I've really been hanging on to the hope that this is going to happen. I knew it was going to happen by the fall semester for some of the schools I work with, but this summer, I don't have any dates yet, but I was emailed by a group saying, hey, we'd like to do an in-person training. Are you up for this?
So I know it's kind of a personal thing, but have you been vaccinated?
I am halfway there. I got my first one just over a week ago. I got the next one coming in 2 weeks. Pfizer, I guess Pfizer, they do every 3 weeks.
I don't know.
Coming up, I'm halfway there.
So now I hear that President Biden says if you're fully vaccinated, you can go outside or inside without a mask. But if you're not, you have to wear your mask until you do. In other words, he's telling people they have to be vaccinated or else they have to wear the mask for the rest of their life or something.
I did hear, what was that I heard? I've been a little out of the loop on this for a week or two, but if you're fully vaccinated and you're outside, you can, and you're with other people who are vaccinated, you can go without a mask. And I'm seeing fewer and fewer masks out there now in Massachusetts. So now there's this, I think it's a national mandate that the mask thing is no longer required outside.
Right.
But Massachusetts is not abiding by that. They're saying, hey, we're going to play this really conservatively, which is ironic for a fairly liberal state. We're going to take this conservatively, but we're not going to jump. We're going to follow everyone's lead in terms of, I don't know. Who knows what to know? I've always said from the beginning, I'm happy to err on the side of caution, whatever that means for everybody.
So I lived in Massachusetts about 24 years.
Yeah.
I can tell you from firsthand experience that the people in Massachusetts to wear the mask is actually a blessing because they look better with a mask on.
I almost spit my coffee out on that one. So my dad, this is interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. But my dad got his first dose. My dad's 95 years old. So he got his first dose not too long ago, like a month ago, 5 weeks ago. And we went all the way down to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough for this. And when you're there, they give you the next date 4 weeks later. So that date came and he was in the hospital. So I had to cancel the appointment and I made it for yesterday. So it would have been 5 weeks yesterday. And when he got home from the hospital, he's really lost a lot of his mobility. And I think laying in a hospital bed for 6 days and not getting out, lost strength in his legs, confidence around walking with his walker. And so I had to cancel yesterday. And I'm working on some ideas to get him, back in shape or, at least kind of more mobile. But there's a possibility moving forward that I can't get enough mobility going to get him back there for his second vaccination. And I wonder how many elderly people are out there falling into the same category as he is. Whereas, I don't know, I wonder if somebody at the other end of this is going to be doing house calls for the elderly. I don't know.
Yeah, you can buy a van.
If there's a concern about, 1 in 4 weeks, if it goes too long, do you have to start over again?
You get a van and put the sign on there, mobile vax.
Mobile vax.
And then you go from people house to house and give them the shots.
I got it. You know what they should do is distribute the vaccinations to the Good Humor Man.
The what?
The Good Humor Man, because he's already going house to house with the ice cream and all the kids.
Wow.
So now he's bell, and the kids are going to come flying, and then the elderly will come up with their walkers and get the vaccination from the ice cream man.
Talk about the ice cream man. back in the 70s, one of my friends had an ice cream route, right?
Really?
Yeah, so they needed somebody else. So he asked me if I would want to do it. I said, sure. So I went over and met with the people that had the ice cream trucks, and I had a route, and he had a route, and he had one in Clinton, but wasn't gonna be in town or something. They asked me to cover his route, so I went with him, and he showed me. He went out to the softball field, then he went to this place, that place, that place. He said, I come back to the softball field, 3 or 4 times because every time I go there, I sell this and that. And then there was one place was it's a big apartment complex, and when he got there, there's all kinds of kids that rushed over to him, and some of them were young kids, some were a little bit older. He says, "Oh, just stay. I'll handle this one. Just stay in the truck." So I stay in the truck, whatever. So then, when I was covering for him, I got to that same complex, and these kids are coming over, would try to give me $5 or something to get a beer. And someone would, I need a couple joints and this and that. I'm like, what? So I guess my friend was providing these kids with beer and weed.
So he was already offering door-to-door medication.
Yeah, so I didn't have any medication. I didn't even know about that. So the kids were mad at me. I said, no, I'm not the regular guy. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I have nothing. So when I told him, I said, what's going on? He says, oh, yeah, I take care of those kids. Take care of them. Why don't you tell me that? They're acting me like I thought they were going to jump me or something. Wow.
Oh, can you remember as a kid, we talked about the happiness advantage earlier, just the utter joy you would have when you heard that bell and flying to my parents, oh, Dad, please, can I have a quarter? And oh my goodness, it's
so did I ever tell you about the time I played the guitar in the prison?
Guitar? I don't think I heard this.
So I was involved in this church in Pittsburgh. When my kids were young, I wanted to bring them to church and teach them, then.
Would that have been the Twin City Baptist Temple?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you remember. Wow.
I was there with you.
There you go. So anyway, this one guy that was there says, "Hey Tony, you play guitar, right?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Listen, man, I play guitar at the prison ministry on Thursdays, and I'm going to be on vacation. Can you cover for me?" I said, "Man, I don't know those songs." He goes, "3 songs. They're just 3-chord songs. I'll get together with you for half an hour. I'll show you the songs, and you just play them. The guys all sing along. It's really cool." I was all right. So I went to be the guitar player at the prison ministry. But this prison was one of those things where most people were on, I don't know if they call it a furlough or whatever, but they would actually go to work during the day. They'd come back in and go.
Yep.
So I go there and I play the 3 songs. These guys were all singing it. They're really into the songs. I thought, this is cool. But then the preacher comes up and does his thing. His message. And then he called the people that were part of the church to come up and do the testimony. So the people went to do the testimony. So now it's supposed to be my turn. I says, I'm just here to cover for the guitar today. I'm not part of this ministry thing. He says, no, come on, give your testimony. He says, no, I'm not. I'm here to play the guitar only. So now the prisoners start going, Tony. So now I have to go up there, right? I said, what am I going to do? So I got to the little podium, and this is a true story. I says, listen, guys, the only difference between you and me is that you got caught and I didn't. And they did exactly what you're doing. They all started laughing. They thought it was funny.
I bet.
So everybody laughed. So I did it the same thing. I just walked off, and there was it. But after that, a lot of them came up to me to talk to me, and I told them a few jokes, and they were laughing and stuff. It was fun. And then the following week, the other guy was back on track. So he went. So on Friday, he goes, "Hey Tony, what happened last week when you went to the prison ministry?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "All these guys are asking for you. They don't want to see me anymore. They want to see you. What happened?" I says, "Well, I related to them." He says, "How did you relate to them?" So I told him the story. He goes, "Oh, that was so clever. How did you come up with that?" I says, "It wasn't clever. It was just I didn't want to give a testimony, You're supposed to say I was down and out and accepted the Lord, and now my life was great. I didn't have a testimony, so I just did that stupid thing. It was funny, actually.
It just strikes me. It's just honest and transparent. Genuine. And I think people are attracted, no matter what the message is. If you're transparent and honest and genuine about it, people are attracted to it.
Yeah.
Crazy, that's a great story.
Wow.
I just laughing at that. That's so funny. Wow. What a cool thing to do. Go to prisons and talk and entertain and
Johnny Cash, man.
Interesting.
Wow.
I wonder if there's an opportunity in prisons for someone like me who kind of does more motivational speaking, teaching kind of stuff. I bet there is. That's interesting.
I'm sure there is, yeah. Wow. There you go.
You never know.
You can bring the drums and do. By the way, that kit that I sent the picture of, the Francis is going to be our drummer for the 29th.
Yeah.
It's a '69 Ludwig thing that's like a reddish.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. That's
Really cool. I have so much respect for these guys. We have,
what's that?
I have so much respect for these guys. We have like 3 different drummers that sat in with us when our drummer isn't available.
Yeah.
And to have that ability to just walk into a rehearsal with a band and you play all the songs and you play them all right, and it's amazing. We just give him a hint on what we're gonna do with the intro and the outro, and he gets it and he just does it. I'm like, what the heck? That's skill, man. That's experience or something.
I read a quote this week. It was referring to the idea of hope. It said, people start to die when they expect nothing from tomorrow.
Ooh.
So it speaks to hope. And so I know statistically, the chances of your drummer and your 3 backup drummers all spraining their wrists the same day and me getting the call, statistically is very small, but I'm not giving up hope.
Well, I can tell you this. Whether agents are available or not, if you're down here, you can definitely sit in with us.
I want to try some of that oyster bone stout.
It's good.
I feel like I know the Silver King Brewing Company already. I just have never been there. I need to get there.
I told you the story about that place, didn't I?
Probably. Which one?
It used to be a jail, police station, and fire station all in the same building.
Oh.
So the building was vacant for years, and the city said if anybody wants to lease these buildings that are vacant, and you need to rehab it a little bit to fit your business, we'll take that, whatever you invest in doing that, we'll take that off your lease. I know there's 3 guys that went to
Love it.
brewery, so they went up and did it. So what used to be the jail now is the bar. And then the room in the middle used to be the police station. Now it's a room with a pool table and a little small stage.
Yeah.
And the fire station with the 3 big doors, the 3 garage doors, is where we play. They open up those doors so people are sitting inside the fire station thing, and there's a lot of there's like a really wide sidewalk there because of and people sit outside. There's chairs out there with some fire pits and stuff. Really cool.
Wow. Amazing.
Right in the summer, it's hot.
So you're outside playing into the.
Well, we're inside the fire station, the garage thing, but no air conditioning there, so the doors are open, and we bring a fan. One time I forgot my fan, so I went to Walmart to buy a fan. I had it in my box. As I was walking up to my car, there was 3 guys near the Coca-Cola machines, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey guys, listen to this. I play in a band. This is our first gig, and I already have a fan because I had my fan in the box." One guy left, the other 2 didn't get it.
Wow.
There was a 33% success at that joke.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
Not too good. It didn't launch my career, that's for sure, as a comedian.
It didn't launch. Did the one guy come to the gig? That would have been good. That'd be a good story.
Funny. So one guy that goes there all the time, one time he says to me, he always says, "Hey, you gonna play some Zach Wild tonight?" I said, "No, we don't play any Zach Wild." So he keeps doing that. So one time he's with his girlfriend and says, "Hey, you gonna play Zach Wild tonight?" I said, "Listen, I talked to Zach. He said he doesn't want me to play his music."
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
So he says, "I talked to Zach." I told him, "I talked to Zach." He says, "You talked to Zach?" I says, "Yeah." So I pulled up a picture of me and Zach.
Right.
Because I was backstage, with Generation X and stuff. I says, "Yeah, see, here it is right here. I got a pit." He told me that I couldn't play his songs because he knows I would mess them up. So don't even ask me anymore. The kid's voice was, "How'd you get that picture?" I says, "Well, I was with him and somebody took the picture with my phone." He goes, "How did that happen?" I says, "I went to talk to him to find out if I could play his songs." And he said, "No." He was blown away by that.
Oh, see, I knew where you were going because I knew you had met Zach and had a picture of him. This guy must have freaked out when you showed him that.
That's his favorite guitar player ever in the world. So he's like, and then I put my guitar on him one day and I took a picture of him with my guitar and he's like all excited.
That's not a bad favorite. That guy's got some.
Zach Wild, wow.
That was that Generation X tour. Who was on that? That was Zach Wild, Nuno, Tobin Abasi.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh, Yngwie was on that.
Steve Vai.
And Steve Vai.
So when Zach comes out, because they each go out, they do about 25 minutes alone. And then the next guy that comes out plays one song with him. They put a song together. Then that first guy walks off the stage and stuff. And when Zach comes out, he doesn't even stay on stage. He just gets on stage and he's already like playing, lead like crazy, real fast notes and stuff. And he walks right off the stage because he's wireless. He starts walking into the crowd immediately. So when we were in Hollywood, Florida, I went down there to see Miami play against the Patriots in Miami.
Yeah.
And then on Monday night, the game was on Sunday. Monday night we were playing in Hollywood at this location. I forget the name of it, but anyway, I went to that. So Zach comes out. He starts going into the crowd. It was like a big school auditorium or something, and he starts climbing the bleachers, playing like a million notes a minute. On the way down, he actually lost his footing and slipped and rolled down the stairs. Never stopped playing the guitar. When you get to the bottom, the security guys, there's two guys who were following him because of security. They helped him up, and he just kept playing. And the crowd went freaking nuts, man. He rolled down the stairs and never stopped playing. Oh man, too crazy.
I love a lot of these guys with the guitar. They just get together and do stuff. So as you know, I play in an original rock band.
Yeah.
So we wrote all of our own stuff. So we're jamming one night. This is going back a while, but we really had this cool thing going. And I always have my iPhone. I put it in record, so I record all of our snippets, and that's kind of how we just continue to refer back to my phone. And so this really came together one night. Like by the end of the rehearsal, we had a song, full song, and we called it Jacob the Liar. I don't know why. We're an instrumental band. There are no lyrics, and so to name these songs is kind of funny because you might as well name them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we had names, and it's just funny how it evolves. So we're psyched about this. The next day, my guitar player calls me and he says, "Dude, we wrote the Game of Thrones theme song." And I said, "What are you talking about?" I never watched Game of Thrones. So I've been told by everybody it's the most amazing show ever. I go listen to the theme song and I'm like, oh my God, that's the song we just wrote last night. And then I saw on YouTube, speaking to Nuno, Scott, Ian, I don't know who else is in that, but they all got together, like 5 or 6 guitar players, and jammed the theme song to Game of Thrones.
You know what the deal with that was? The guy that wrote the song is a musician that wrote the music for Game of Thrones. And he went to Fender and he wanted to do like a...
That's what it was. It was a Fender thing. They all were playing Fenders. You're right.
Yeah, those Fenders were tribute guitars for Game of Thrones. So the one that Nuno was playing, for example, was like a $35,000 guitar. It was really so cool to watch those guys in the...
One of the guys was a country artist. Was it Brad Paisley who was in that group?
Yeah. That guy's got some chops, man. He's good.
Whew. I don't think anybody realized, even if you're like a country fan and love him on the, he's unbelievable on the guitar.
Oh,
but fun. And the song, our song, Jacob the Liar, and that Game of Thrones theme song, they are so similar, it's scary.
Wow.
And Marco, who started this riff in the basement, had seen the show and was in the recesses of his, who knows how it came up, but it was obviously, but I said, listen, who cares? Let's still do this song. Let's still call it ours. And what's the worst case scenario? We get sued by the Game of Thrones producers, and that'll bring us some notoriety. So we're still going to do it. I should send that to you.
I've watched this a bunch of times. What are you talking about? What? Send me your riff.
I'm going to go into my phone later because you know the Game of Thrones thing, and you've seen the video. So I'm going to go into mine and find my thing and send it to you so you can hear us doing our song. They beat us by like 5 guitar players, but we still think ours is okay.
Yeah, the other guy was on Rage Against the Machine. What's his name? He was one of the guitar players.
Oh, Tommy Morello.
Yeah. Tommy
Morello, Scott, Ian, Nuno, Brad Paisley. I think there was a guy involved in the show who was playing the guitar. It was so fun. It's neat to see these guys. I mean, because for the most, let's call them all rock stars, and to see, how gracious they are to each other and how humble they are. And none of these guys are like, well, I shouldn't say none of them because you told me some Generation X stories, but these are all seem to be sweet, cool dudes who appreciate everybody else's input and they just have fun together.
The only one that's not good I've been backstage 5 times with Generation X. And the only one that won't talk to anybody, I haven't been able to talk to, is Yingwei. No, Yingwei Malmsteen, he doesn't like people for some reason. I don't know what it is. So weird.
I've heard that. I've heard
And
that.
like when he's on stage, he has 22 Marshall stacks. You know, like the double Marshall stacks. 22 of them on stage.
How many are plugged in?
2. And I know that because somebody in the band told me that. Just so crazy. And it's all about show. He's an amazing guitar player, but he doesn't have to be a jerk. He can be nice to people.
It's funny how rock and roll has changed since like the 80s, when it was all about image and stacks of amplifiers, because it was about the image of it. I don't know. It seems like there's certainly a lot of image there, no question, which is an important piece of it. But it's just, for me, it's refreshing to see these guys get together and enjoy each other's company and not try to think that they're the big guy, and just let's just have some fun. This is what we do. We're blessed to be able to play guitars for a living. Let's relax and have some fun, which is exactly what that was. A great video.
So last week I ran into a guy at the store with his lady, and she's pointing at me and saying something to him. He's looking over, he's talking to her, and she looked back and goes, oh. So they walk over to me and says, hey, I know you guys. He said, I know you. You do? He said, yeah. You're the guitar player for Oysterbone. I said, yeah. He says, how do you know that? He says, I've seen you guys play a few times. You guys are pretty good. I said, wow. So it's kind of a nice, interesting thing, but he never even asked me for my autograph.
That pissed me off too. Yeah.
I took out my checkbook. I said, you want my autograph on this little piece of paper here? He goes, yeah. Don't fill up the top though. I'll take care of that.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
And one time this happened to me too.
I just looked at the clock. This is a fast one. We had fun today.
Well, it's fast because we're just that good.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. So one time
I got to go and have lunch with my niece and nephew today, and my nephew's birthday.
16 and 14. So which one has a birthday?
Sean turns 17.
No, 17 and 14. See? Aha.
Until 2 weeks from now, when it becomes 17 and 15. It's fun to be back in. It's fun to be back in the lives of teenagers. My kids have not been teenagers for some time now, so we'll go have some fun. And I'm going to send Jacob the Liar so you can listen to it. And our audience is going to go to YouTube and look at the Bill Barr SNL Sam Adams, and they're going to go to YouTube and type in Game of Thrones, probably just Nuno. It'll come up, and they'll enjoy that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. $35,000 for a guitar. Some of the work on it on the wood is unbelievable. It's all like I don't know.
One of Tom Petty's last albums called Mojo, good album. And his guitar player, Mike Campbell, had gotten a hold of a guitar that he bought for $250,000. And a lot of that album Mojo was built and written around this guitar, but it was really cool stuff. It was only a few years before Tom Petty passed away. But good album, Mojo.
So Joe Perry from Aerosmith had a real nice 60s Les Paul guitar. And when he went to when the band was kind of broken up for a while and he went through a tough time, he needed money, so he sold the guitar. Whatever. So then when the band got back together and started making money again, he missed the guitar, but nobody knew what the guitar was.
Mm.
But one of his tech guys decided to do some researching, and he found out who had the guitar. So he told Joe. So Joe called this guy up. He said, "Hey, listen, Slash, listen. This is Joe Perry." And Slash said, "No, don't ask me. I know what you're gonna ask me. Don't ask me. Please don't ask me.
Don't do it, because if you ask him, I have to say yes."
Yeah, because you have to say yes. So he didn't do anything. So I don't know. I think maybe 2 years or whatever. Aerosmith was playing a gig. In the middle of the thing, between songs, the tech walked out to the stage with a guitar and said, "Hey, Slash dropped off your guitar," and didn't even take any money for it. And that's something.
That is something. It's always fun to hear stories about people with a heart. Nice.
I saw a cartoon thing where there was a guy there's like a fire truck, with a ladder. There's a fire going on in the house. And the two firemen are on a ladder, and he's leaning out the window. And he has 7 guitars all clumped up in one. He says, "Here, take these, and I'll go look for my wife."
Oh, goodness. All right, pal, let's wrap it up. We've had some fun today.
Yeah, thank you.
I have.